Hey there! If you're looking for a fun and easy way to earn rewards, including cash and prizes, check out the link in the video description.
In the summer of 2011, Darrell Scott, a Pentecostal minister from a black church in Cleveland, the New Spirit Revival Center, was asked by a televangelist friend to come to Trump Tower in New York for a meeting shrouded in mystery. Scott was ushered up to a ballroom on the 26th floor where he found a group of about 15 other pastors waiting. Donald Trump, then star of The Celebrity Apprentice, swept into the room. "I'm thinking about running for president," he told the astonished gathering. "I'm hoping you guys can pray on me, that God gives me the wisdom to make the right decision." The former president held his fire on that occasion, but not before Scott had shared with him some blunt home truths. As a plain-talking born-again former drug dealer, and one of the only black pastors present in the room, Scott gave it to Trump straight. "What makes you think black people will vote for you?" he told the real estate tycoon. "Word on the street is you don't like black people." 13 years later, and less than 6 months away from another presidential election in which Trump is running, Scott now finds himself at the receiving end of the very same question he posed to Trump. He was so impressed by the TV celebrity's response to his challenge in 2011, in which Trump invoked unemployment as the main hurdle for African American communities, that he became an instant acolyte. His conversion has been so total that the 65-year-old pastor now has a reputation and notoriety for being Trump's earliest and one of his most dependable black apostles. In 2016, Trump publicly thanked Scott for encouraging him to run for the White House. 2 years later, the pastor returned the compliment by calling him the most pro-black president we've had in our lifetime. Scott co-founded the National Diversity Coalition, Trump's spluttering attempt in 2016 to demonstrate that he had traction with African American and Hispanic voters. Ironically, his co-founder was Michael Cohen, who was the main state's witness at Trump's New York hush money trial. Scott's name was mentioned in the trial, when Cohen was cross-examined over private requests he made to the pastor to put in a good word for him with Trump. Now, as the 2024 presidential year thickens, Scott is once again occupying the barricades. Though he lacks a formal title within the Trump campaign, he identifies himself as the former president's senior advisor, and is determined to see his friend back in the White House. Scott believes the traditional Democratic loyalties of African Americans is starting to turn. By his reckoning, as many as 25% or 30% of black voters could back Trump in November, which would be a seismic shift were it to come even close. In 2020, a mere 8% of black voters cast their ballots for the incumbent president, according to the Pew Research Center, with 92% siding with his Democratic challenger Joe Biden. I hear a lot of positivity regarding President Trump in the black community. Very little negativity. Those I speak to have changed their tone against him. Trump's not so bad after all, they say. Opinion polls suggest, very tentatively, that there might be something to the pastor's optimism. A small but potentially significant slice of the African American population appears to be hazarding a switch to Trump. A new Pew poll, for instance, puts him at 18%, and the latest New York Times/Siena survey of the 6 key battleground states likely to seal the outcome in November shows 23% of black voters leaning towards him. It would be a fool's game to read too much into this data, given that the election is still months away and it is not clear how many African Americans who are disappointed with the Biden presidency will actually end up casting a vote for Trump. But in the event of a close election in November, even a relatively small defection from Biden's base could be fatal to his re-election hopes. What is definite, however, is that Scott has paid a high price for his public allegiance to Trump. It's not easy as a black pastor being a champion for a man who has called the majority black city of Baltimore a disgusting, rat and rodent-infested mess, told American-born progressive congresswomen of color to go back to the crime-infested places from which they came, and exhorted NFL owners to fire son-of-a-bitch players who took the knee in protest against racism. For speaking out on Trump's behalf, Scott